Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Mayor Mitch Landrieu.
How about that choir? We had to let, they didn't want to go back to school, but they had to go. You know that, huh? And give a round of applause to Craig Elementary, who was here a little bit earlier. It's great to see all of you. We have our council president with us today, Jackie Clarkson. Stacy Head is with us. It's nice to see you. Susan Guidry and Cynthia Hedge-Morrell is with us as well. LaToya Cantrell. And two of our council members, James Gray and Kristen Palmer, are in Washington, D.C. fighting on our behalf. So with you guys, thank y'all so much for being great partners to me and to all of the city of New Orleans. Could you guys please stand up? Yeah, good to see you guys. Our district attorney is with us today, Mr. DA. Thank you so much for being here. Judge Ziblich is with us today. And I also understand that Judge Burris is with us. Can you guys stand up and be recognized? It's great to see you. We have some of our school board members with us, like Woody Koppel is with us, stand with us, any other elected officials. If you guys would stand up and be recognized, we would sure appreciate it. And of course, the real mayor is in the house, my dad, Moon Landrieu, and my mother, Vernon Landrieu, with us. Mr. Mayor. Look, if y'all don't like it, y'all can blame him. He taught me everything he knows. The First Lady's with us today. Cheryl, thank you so much for coming. I want to thank all of you for coming today. 295 years ago, Bienville planted his flag on this rich piece of soil that is now our home. From that day, New Orleans has grown to become an international capital, ruled under the flags of France, Spain, and now under the great flag of the United States of America. Since our very early beginnings, we were a mecca for diverse peoples who put down their roots and created a deep, unique, and authentic culture. This is the city that we cling to so tightly, and it is the one that we love so dearly. Over the last 295 years, we have suffered tragedy, and we have celebrated triumph. Now, together, we are going forward. Forward towards 2018. Forward towards our 300th anniversary. Every way you look, progress is being made. The people of New Orleans have found a way to win, and you know something? We like it. After decades of decline, New Orleans is now one of the fastest growing cities in America, 9,000 residents last year alone. Our economy is strong. Our home values are up, our regional unemployment rate is down, and it is well below the national average. We're putting people back to work. We're creating jobs. And you know what? We're getting smarter. Our schools are improving rapidly. Our test scores are up, our dropout rates are down, and our graduation rates are now better than Baton Rouge, better than Shreveport, and better than the entire state as a whole. And I want to give another big shout out to all the students who are here, especially those from Craig and St. Peter Claver. That's our future. Give them a round of applause, please. Get this, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation says we're getting healthier. Now, I feel like we deserve a little extra credit for this, because in this city, it can be hard to put down a knife and fork and back up off your fried oyster po' boy, or your crawfish bread, or your mango freeze. And guess what? We're getting cooler. Everybody has started to realize what we have always known, that New Orleans is the coolest city in America, with 9 million visitors per year streaming into this very unique place. And you want to know who really won the Super Bowl this year? New Orleans did. In fact, many said that we were one of the best host cities in Super Bowl history. And ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing, we can do it in the dark with the lights off. Y'all saw that coming. I want to take a minute to thank all of the city departments, New Orleans Police Department, Fire, EMS, Public Works, Sanitation, Safety and Permits, Park and Parkways, along with all of our local, state, and federal business partners, our city council, the thousands of volunteers, the host committee, and of course, Mr. Benson and the Saints. We could not have done it without all of you guys, so give yourselves a round of applause. So here's the thing. We don't flinch, whether we're on the world stage for the Super Bowl or facing down a storm like Hurricane Isaac. Isaac was a big test. The eyes of the nation were upon us, but the levees held and we all passed. Now, in order for us to keep winning, this is now our new challenge. We must keep what is good and we must get rid of what is bad. And this is just what we are doing. City Hall wasn't creating jobs, so we launched a public-private partnership called NOLA Business Alliance. The result? 4,000 new jobs, and world-class companies like General Electric are relocating here. You asked for more places to shop and to eat. Now there is a retail and restaurant boom going on in your city. There are 80 new projects getting off the ground as we speak. Walmart's in Gentilly, and in the east, a new mid-city market on Carrollton, Whole Foods on Broad Street, Costco at the end of Washington, Algiers Plaza on General de Gaulle Drive, just to name a few. Local small businesses said they needed more capital and they needed more funding and training. So we brought together the Urban League, Delgado, and the Hope Enterprise Corporation to partner with another major company, Goldman Sachs, for the 10,000 Small Business Initiative. The result? $20 million to help our local small businesses learn, grow, compete, and create jobs. Now 128 businesses are on an exciting new path that I call the pathway to prosperity. Take Comex Construction, where Angelica Rivera and her husband, Roman Lopez, are newly registered DBEs and one of our 10,000 small businesses. Now Comex is growing fast, doubling their staff from 6 to 15 employees. Elite Property Management owner Paul Irons is a former tight end with the Cleveland Browns, but we didn't hold that against him. He was born and bred in New Orleans, and since joining our 10,000 small businesses, his revenues are up 40%. And there are many, many more. With our help, Demolition Diva is taking blight down to dirt. Teresa Lawrence at Delta Personnel has increased her sales by $1 million, and Erin Rio Pelias at Zuka Baby has doubled her revenues. On top of that, we have just launched our second round of Small Business Assistance Loan Program. 9 businesses have already received over $600,000 in loans, and that is access to new capital. What's the result? Loan recipients like Derek Tabb, director of Roots of Music, member of the Rebirth Band, and a businessman can now expand. Derek's going to use these funds to finish his Treme recording studio. Ladies and gentlemen, our economy is humming. But to be happy and healthy, everybody in New Orleans needs to have easy access to fresh food. So we have leveraged $14 million in the innovative Fresh Food Retailer Initiative that aims to bring groceries to every part of the city. And here is the great story. Circle Foods in the 7th Ward, ladies and gentlemen, is back, and this is a big deal. When it opened in the 1930s, Circle Foods was the first African-American-owned grocery store in New Orleans. And it was more than just a place to make your groceries. It's where you went with your mama to get your back-to-school uniforms, your five green peppers for $1, your Easter candy, your pickled meat, or your hot sausage for your red beans on Monday, or your fresh fish on Friday. Right, Cynthia? And you can get it all right there. Now, with the help of the Fresh Food Retailer Initiative, Mr. Dwayne Boudreau, longtime owner and operator of Circle Foods, will be back in business by Thanksgiving. And I also want you to consider another great story on Jackson Avenue, where Doug Carricker opened the Fresh Seafood. Altogether, Dwayne, Doug, and the other beneficiaries of the Fresh Food Retailer Initiative will have created over 150 new jobs. Entrepreneurs like Dwayne and Doug are engines for the economy of our future. Indeed, the number of startups in New Orleans has doubled in recent years and is now far above the national average. And it's just unbelievable, because right across town, at the Idea Village, they have provided direct support to nearly 2,000 local entrepreneurs, like Matt Wisdom at Turbo Squid. Is it a wonder that the Wall Street Journal has now ranked New Orleans #1 for the most improved city for business? Forbes magazine says that New Orleans is America's biggest brain magnet, and the Brookings Institute rated New Orleans #1 in economic recovery. Earlier this month, Bloomberg News said we are one of the top American boom towns, and last week the National Journal called us the Cajun comeback. How about that? They missed it by a couple of miles, but that's okay. This is a remarkable turnaround. In many instances, we've gone from worst to first in just 3 years. But this economic renaissance won't mean much unless everybody is involved. For years, City Hall's procurement process was in disarray. So with the stroke of a pen and a lot of hard work, we leveled the playing field. We increased the number of DBEs by over 70%. Now we award contracts based on what you know, not who you know. And guess what? Everybody gets a fair shake. We have strong DEB requirements for billions of dollars hitting the ground, not just with the city, but also the airport, the Sewage and Water Board, and the RTA. And others are following our lead. The Recovery School District has modeled their DBE program after ours. Furthermore, when Costco came to town, we insisted that locals and DBEs make up 35% of their construction contracts, and guess what? They agreed. And at our urging, thank you, Essence, Super Bowl, and NBA All-Star Weekend all committed to contract with local firms. Local firms like Don Harding's Cool Fruit Sensations. Don's been serving at small festivals until he discovered our program. He became a DBE and business started to boom. Now Don serves at the French Quarter Festival, he serves at the Convention Center, and he even served at the Super Bowl. All those entrepreneurs, business people who participated in 10,000 Small Business Initiative, the Fresh Food Retailer Initiative, and joined our DBE program, would you please stand up so that everybody can see you and you can be recognized? I've always said that the people of New Orleans will be the ones who rebuild New Orleans. These business leaders and residents count on City Hall to be efficient and attentive to their needs. Unfortunately, customer service at City Hall wasn't always so friendly. Now, NOLA 311 is up and running, fielding over 200,000 citizen calls in our first year. And at the new City Hall welcome desk, Miss Loretta and Miss Freddie will help you get what you need, and they'll do it with a big smile. Her entire career, Council President Jackie Clarkson has worked to set up one-stop shop for permitting at City Hall. And by working together with Jackie and the entire council, we actually made this happen. And the one-stop shop on the 7th floor of City Hall is now blowing and going with permit process times cut in half. Now just ask the home builders and the construction companies who visited our new one-stop shop. They almost stroked out. One stop, one place for all of their business needs. Thank all of you guys for doing such business in our city, and many thanks to the city employees and for the council members for making this happen. Thank you so much. So we're changing it up, and we're winning, reforming every aspect of City Hall, from customer service to taxi cabs. Now when we came into office, the taxi cabs were old. They were broken, and the Taxi Cab Bureau was not working well. So we worked closely with Councilmember Palmer, the rest of the council, the hospitality industry, cab drivers, the entire community to completely reorganize how we regulate taxi cabs so that we could have clean and safe transportation for our residents and for our visitors. Now, drivers who for years had been under the thumb of a few company owners are now free to be their own small businesses and will be able to build generational wealth for their families. A great example is with us today, Mr. Sam Porter. Been driving a taxi cab since 1965 when I was a wee boy, 5 years old. 1966, he applied for his first CPNC. Now, 47 years later, this administration finally got him and 75 others their own CPNCs. Sam has a brand new cab, and it's got his name on the brand new permit. He now works for himself, for his family, his family's future, and for the people of New Orleans. Mr. Sam, will you please stand up? And all the taxi cab drivers, thank you very much for being great ambassadors to the city of New Orleans. Thank you guys. Mr. Sam, thank you. Now, I know y'all remember this. When I first came into office, I first asked, when is the time to get tough on blight? Y'all remember what y'all said? Right now. Thank you very much. That's exactly right, right now. So, of course, none of our progress on blight matters if you still have a big old nasty house next door. But we are close to hitting our goal of fixing or tearing down nearly 10,000 blighted properties since we came into office. We're working at it day and night because for New Orleans to succeed, our neighborhoods need to be strong. That is why we invest millions each year in fighting blight. But it's not all about bulldozing and demolition. It's about bringing properties back into commerce. That is why we turned our soft second program around and got it working again. Now, $52 million in the Soft Second program is helping hundreds of families realize the American dream and build generational wealth through home ownership. First-time home buyers like the Martin family, who were living in a small rented apartment with 5 kids in the East, qualified for the Soft Second program assistance and now own their own home in the same area. The Martin family and 268 people and families who benefited from the Soft Seconds program and now own their own home are making New Orleans neighborhoods stronger. Would you guys please stand and be recognized? Congratulations. But as you all know, a neighborhood is much, much more than just a collection of houses. So while others talk, we actually made it happen. We walked the walk. We cut red tape, and our progress is self-evident by the hundreds of millions of dollars in infrastructure improvements. New streets, new bike lanes, new libraries, new police and fire stations, new parks and playgrounds, new schools. We have already spent millions fixing major corridors, 90 major street repair projects, 33 miles of streets, $375 million of street repairs hitting the ground as we speak. Then there are the streetscapes. And citywide, we've gone from less than 10 miles of bike lanes before Katrina to nearly 60 miles today, with another 10 miles on the way. And according to the League of American Bicyclists, we are now a bronze-level bike-friendly community. Plus, there are big-time projects that are hitting the ground right now. Now, I know all of our lives are busy, and it's easy to take for granted and just pass these projects by as if they had always been there. So in case anybody missed it, I just want you to look at a few highlights of finished projects or those that are getting off the ground in the last 3 years. The 7th District Police Station on Dwyer Road, Joe W. Brown Park and Center in the East, the New Orleans East Library, the new fire station in Venetian Isles, Oliver Bush Tennis Courts in Lower 9, Sam Bonard Park in Lower 9, the new fire station in Lower 9, Wesley Barrow Stadium in Pontchartrain Park, Joseph Bartholomew Golf Course and Clubhouse in Pontchartrain Park, the Algiers Regional Library on Holiday Drive, Cedar Hubble Library in Old Algiers, Rosa Keller Library in Broadmoor, Comiskey Park in Mid-City, Norman Maier Library in Gentilly, the Robert E. Smith Lupo Library in Lakeview, Norwood Thompson Park in Gertown, the new Corridors Complex, EMS Headquarters and Rosenworld Center in B.W. Cooper, the St. Roch Market on St. Claude, St. Roch Park, the 5th District Police Station on St. Claude, Lions Center on Chapatula Street, Horrell Park in Holly Grove, the incredible Sanger Theater on Canal Street, and the University Medical Center Hospital in Mid-City. And finally, the beautiful new Loyola streetcar line is already open, and the Rampart Street extension is on the way. And ladies and gentlemen, there is more to come. And let's not forget our new housing developments and our neighborhoods. Billions invested in affordable housing for thousands of our residents. Residents represented by the Hanover Citywide Tenants Association, who are with us today. President Lily Woodfark, Cynthia Wiggins of Gust, Constance Haynes of Fisher, Donna Johnson of Marrero Commons, Diana Cornely from Florida, and Imelda Paul from Lafitte. Ladies, thank you so much for your leadership. Will you please stand up and let the folks in New Orleans thank you for your work. So here we go. We're working it. We're doing what we can to change the bad to the good. Nord was struggling, so we doubled the funding for recreation, and we have created a new Nord. This summer, 4,000 kids will have a great time at 33 youth camps, 1,000 of our teens at 17 camps across the city, 13 pools with 7,700 kids and adults getting swimming lessons, and 1,600 young people between 13 and 21 will learn the value of a hard day's work through our summer jobs program. It is a beautiful thing to see. And this can only happen through partnerships. So I want to give my deep thanks to all the boosters, the volunteer coaches, the NORD employees, NORD commissioners, and the sponsors in the house today. Would you guys please stand? Vic, thank you so much for all of your work. And to the NORD. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Bill. Now, we're making progress, but none of this can occur if we don't pinch every penny and watch the bottom line. So perhaps most importantly, I worked very closely with this city council, and together we have made tough decisions and balanced the budget 3 years in a row and gotten rid of our structural deficit. Here is the way that we do it. We cut, we reorganize, and we invest savings in what really matters. The result? City Hall is spending $40 million less per year than the year before we took office. City government was too big. It was too cumbersome. So we're working to consolidate 19 boards and commissions. We consolidated departments, cut overtime, cut take-home cars, cut millions in contracts, and practically eliminated the use of city credit cards. And we're moving forward. We're delivering more value to the taxpayers, and there's more to come. This city now belongs to its future. We are building a foundation for our children. All this progress is wonderful. But as every parent knows, as my mama tells me, you can never be happier than your saddest child. Many daunting challenges remain that we must overcome in this city. A dysfunctional criminal justice system, crumbling infrastructure and roads, sewage and water board reform, and firefighter pension problems, just to name a few small ones. Let me let that sit there for a second. But here's the thing. Kicking the can down the road is not a pathway to excellence. There is no challenge more urgent and more important than murder and violent crime. Last year, 193 people, our fellow citizens, were murdered in this city. 193 tragic stories in the wake of destruction and heartbreak. Let us just take a moment to remember a few victims from just the last 2 months. Desmond Bell, Chico Delbar, Christian Evans, Ryan Carter, Siddiqui Navar, Lawrence Brown, Joseph Massenberg, Nicholas Ross, Norman Driscoll, Tyler Lee, and 8-year-old Damon Harris, who last month got caught in the crossfire, shot in the gut, nearly bled out in his mama's arms. Unlike Breonna Allen, who was taken from us, by the grace of God, Damon survived. But his life is changed, and the damage is already done. Yes, there's no question we've made a lot of progress. Last year, overall crime was down. Murders down over 25% compared to this time in 2011, down nearly 15% from this time last year. But this isn't good enough. And remember, this problem will not be solved overnight. Since 1979, 34 years ago, on average, every year, 241 young African-American men have been killed on the streets of New Orleans. Every year, on average, 241 precious lives lost in the relentless drumbeat of death. This has got to stop. And make no mistake about it, it can be fixed. There is an answer to this problem. Our answer is called NOLA for life, because we will end the cycle of violence and change the culture of death in New Orleans to a culture of life. The pillars of NOLA for life are really simple. There are 5 of them. Stop the shooting, invest in prevention, create jobs and opportunity, get involved and rebuild neighborhoods, and number 5, improve the police department. Here are a few key aspects of the plan. Because turning the tide is a huge challenge, we established a multi-agency gang unit. Now, federal and state law enforcement and the district attorney and the U.S. attorney work side by side with the NOPD. Here's their goal. They go after and dismantle known violent groups or gangs operating in the city and target 649 of the most violent offenders. Here's our message to them. Stop the shooting, or else we're coming for you and all of your friends. And you know what? We're seeing results. Just in the last few weeks in the 7th Ward, 5 members of the MMG gang were taken off the streets. And there is more to come. But we need to get on the front end to interrupt violence, actually, before it happens. So in partnership with the Urban League, we launched Ceasefire New Orleans in Central City. Now, if one shooting has the possibility of leading to another, the ceasefire workers get on it and interrupt the cycle of violence. They're helping young men get back on track. Young men like Jamal, who after getting involved with ceasefire went from hanging in the streets with the wrong people to studying business at SUNO. He is a great example, and he is with us today. Jamal, will you please stand up and be recognized? NOLA for Life also puts a heavy emphasis on prevention. This is where midnight basketball comes in. On June 1st, we will start our 4th season, and it's wonderful. Over 1,000 mostly young men have come out to play ball, get connected to resources, and hear encouraging messages of hope from people who have made it. But hope alone is not enough, and our young people need jobs. So when they put down the gun, there is something else for them to pick up. That's why we're creating jobs and opportunity, and that's the third and central pillar of NOLA for Life. Since taking office, we have doubled the number of summer jobs for kids and rapidly expanded the number of job sites. Our city's reentry coordinator is creating a pathway so the formerly incarcerated returning to our communities can find jobs and stay out of trouble. Plus, we've partnered with Delgado again and others to create a new job training and placement services for hundreds of people interested in the thousands of jobs that are coming online now with the Sewage and Water Board, the airport, the RTA, and the UMC hospitals. So ladies and gentlemen, what is NOLA for Life? NOLA for Life is the multi-agency gang unit. NOLA for Life is midnight basketball, recreation, and mentorship for 1,000 young men who got to get out of crime hotspots. It's Ceasefire, New Orleans. It's jobs and opportunities. And it is the NOLA for Life Fund. Over $1 million raised from private sector sponsors like Chevron and others. $500,000 invested in 23 local organizations that help stop the shooting. And it is NOLA for Life Days, where Taylor and Hardin Parks, the East Shore and McDonough playgrounds, hundreds of citizens have hit the streets with community groups, city agencies, and the NOPD to clean up crime hotspots. But ladies and gentlemen, the community still needs help. That's why the final pillar of NOLA for Life is so important. We must improve the New Orleans Police Department and give them what they need to get the job done. We cannot ever forget what police officers risk every day and what they sacrifice. Earlier this year, Officer John Passero was shot multiple times responding to an armed robbery in progress. He put everything on the line to uphold his sacred oath to us, to protect and to serve, and he paid a very heavy price. He's here with us today, one of the many officers committed to do that duty, protecting us from harm. We salute and honor you, Officer Passero, and your wonderful wife, Stephanie, and all of the other police officers who are with us today that make the sacrifice. Thank you so much. So with the help from hundreds of honest, dedicated cops like Officer Passero, NOPD is on the mend. And we will reform NOPD. We're not waiting for anyone, not even the Department of Justice. We're moving forward. The chief is implementing a 65-point plan. We have doubled the number of homicide detectives, funded 2 new recruit class. Thank you, Council. We now insist on higher standards and better training. We've improved DNA and ballistics analysis, which has resulted in more arrests and better prosecutions. Thank you, Mr. DA. Plus, we launched domestic violence initiatives, cleared the backlog of testing on rape kits, and the innovative Project Safe Neighborhood has made over 830 cases against dangerous armed criminals. We've begun the overhaul of the paid detail system and have strengthened the civilian-led Public Integrity Bureau staffed with 2 FBI agents. On top of that, the Independent Police Monitor and the OIG are vigilant in their oversight. Misconduct is unacceptable. Racial profiling is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Constitutional policing can be aggressive, but it must be based on behavior, not on race. As a consequence of our reform, since 2010, complaints against our officers are down nearly 30%. This is a sign of progress, and we have made improvements across the board. Now, just as the people of the city deserve a good police department that polices constitutionally and keeps them safe, we also have a responsibility to have a prison that does the same. I believe that this is more about management than it is about money. All that notwithstanding, I have faith that we can find a solution to the police and the sheriff consent decrees. After all, this is what we do down here in New Orleans. We find a way, or we make one. Now, none of our problems have easy solutions. These challenges were not created overnight. But the time is now to find the answers. The time is now to right the ship. Since my first moments as your mayor, I have spoken often about rebuilding New Orleans, not as she was, but as we always wanted and dreamed her to be. So with our 300th anniversary close at hand, just 5 very short years away, now is the time to prepare. The goal in 5 years, make the jump from dream to reality and create a city for the ages. So this is like what we would do if we prepared for the Super Bowl, the Olympics, or the World Cup. We need to set a timeline, state a vision, and work together to get it done. It's crunch time. Get your plans ready because we are moving, and it is going to be a sprint to the finish line in 2018. So what do we see as 2018 dawns? In 2018, I see a world-class airport. For 50 years, many said we needed a new airport, but we weren't able to do much about it. Now's the time. We can't kick this can down the road anymore. This new facility will be paid for with the airport's own funds that can only be used at the airport. This project is going to have a big impact on the local economy, 13,500 new jobs during construction, and once complete, it will be a critical economic driver for the city, just like it was for Atlanta. We're moving forward. This project is on go. In 2018, I see a federal city on the West Bank growing exponentially and serving as one of the federal premier assets in the country and a great economic engine for a region. In 2018, I see the expansion of our streetcar network. In 2018, I see a realized city park master plan with new museum facilities, festival areas, outdoor concert venues, and bike paths. Ladies and gentlemen, they're well on the way at City Park and doing a superb job. In 2018, I see at the base of Canal Street on the river, the World Trade Center site remade into a world-class civic space. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As we speak, the city is reviewing exciting plans as part of the public competitive selection process, so stay tuned. In 2018, I see a university medical center creating thousands of jobs and a new knowledge-based economy surrounding healthcare. But the future of New Orleans, the heart of New Orleans, resides beyond a new airport, beyond Federal City, beyond new streetcars, beyond the new city park, a newly designed riverfront, new UMC hospital, or other infrastructure improvements. I believe that the true measure of success or failure in 2018 will be the condition of our neighborhoods and how our families are doing. After all, everything we do is merely meant to achieve the ultimate goal of a better life for our friends, our neighbors, and a better life and a strong foundation for our children. In 2018, I hope to see a remarkable change for better coming from all of our neighborhoods. So I want to step back for a second and think about what winning looks like for all of New Orleans by focusing on 3 place-based developments that are underway across the city as we speak. Iberville-Tremé, where you're sitting now, is the site for the over $30 million Choice Neighborhood Initiative. With this money and another $1.2 billion of leveraged public and private funding, everything in Iberville-Tremé is coming together all at one time. So imagine with me in 2018, Iberville-Tremé, new affordable energy-efficient housing in the new Lafitte and Iberville developments, North Claiborne and St. Bernard streetscapes, the Circle Food Store, Craig Elementary, the Tremé Center, Armstrong Park, Galvez and North Miro bikeways, the Lafitte Greenway, the UMC hospitals, and the upcoming North Rampart streetcar line. This is a beautiful picture, and it is within our grasp. This change is not just for the people of Iberville-Tremé. The whole city will benefit, and our success will serve as an example to the entire nation about what is possible. In 2018, imagine New Orleans East will have had a new hospital, which by then will be 4 years old. Joe W. Brown Park, a regional center for fun, games, and community events, with the Audubon, Louisiana Nature Center right next door, along with the already open new 7th District Police Station and the already open new New Orleans East Regional Library, plus streetscapes at Reed and Lake Forest Boulevards. Plus, the kids at Littlewoods, St. Stephen's, and Abramson will be getting an excellent education in their brand new schools, happening now as we speak. In 2018, think of Pontchartrain Park. New roads and streetscapes. Suno is thriving. Joseph Bartholomew Golf Course is busy from dawn until dusk, learning the rules of the game, or the kids are playing tennis at the brand new courts right next door that are open. Wesley Barrow Stadium with our partners at Major League Baseball. There are great games there every night. Pontchartrain Park and Harris Playground are always full of people relaxing, reading, and playing. The Walmart, breaking ground in a couple of weeks, is just down the street at Gentilly Woods, and the surrounding park, a lot of the empty houses have now been fixed up. The soft seconds and the NSP2 programs have had a big impact, and once people started to move back to the neighborhood, more followed. This is happening now. Success breeds success. Winning breeds more winning. The vision of thriving, sustainable neighborhoods across the whole city is already being realized thanks to the hard work of everyday New Orleanians. Ladies and gentlemen, we will leave a remarkable legacy. And in 2018, our 300th anniversary promises to be a milestone in our history. We will have successfully captured this brief moment in time that was given to us to stop the city's decline, turn her around, move her in the right direction, and create a strong foundation for generations to come. In 2018, I envision a safe and a prosperous city. I see a new generation of young people educated in some of the nation's finest schools, taking the reins of leadership to drive us forward. I see our young men, especially with new opportunities and a bright new pathway to prosperity in front of them. I see New Orleans embracing healthy living through our Fit NOLA program, becoming one of the 10 fittest country cities in the United States. I see today's crop of cutting-edge New Orleans companies like TurboSquid, iSeats, and Pierce Industries as major players changing the landscape of American business. I see tourism growing to 13 million visitors per year, a thriving riverfront, and the music and the cultural economy blowing it off the charts. This past weekend at Jazz Fest, the Nevilles passed the torch to a new generation, handing over the final act on the Acura stage to Trombone Shorty, who is now coming into his own and taking us into the future. The great Quint Davis said it best by describing our culture and heritage as not just being in the rearview mirror. He said, New Orleans, you can see heritage through the windshield. It goes forward as well as back. And oh, how right he is. And finally, in 2018, I see the beating heart of New Orleans, our neighborhoods happy and healthy, with children playing in safe streets. When we came together 3 years ago, I talked about Mr. Jerome Smith. Mr. Jerome Smith is a civil rights leader whose ways and words influenced luminaries like Robert Kennedy, Harry Belafonte, Lorraine Hansberry, and thousands more. For years, he has offered his kids a safe haven at the Tambourine and Fan Nord Summer Camp in the Treme Center. Here they can laugh and learn and are safe from the unforgiving streets of New Orleans. In my mind, Mr. Smith is at the center of the battle for the soul of our city. And 3 years ago, I asked, how do we send him into battle? And the answer was with nothing. Before we took office, his request for basic supplies for his camp and his kids was botched by bureaucracy. There were no board games, no crayons, no hula hoops. The building didn't have air conditioning, but Mr. Smith didn't walk away. He didn't close his doors. He didn't turn the kids away. When the heat index was over 100 degrees, he brought his fans. He kept the doors open, let the kids in. There was a raggedy old bus that took our kids to a raggedy old pool not worthy of their great promise. But for many of these kids, that old bus provided the only ride they ever took someplace new. And that old pool was their only escape from the hot and vicious summer streets. Mr. Smith Camp gave them so much. It gave them hope. But it broke my heart because I knew that we could do better. Today, I am proud. I'm thrilled to say that the Treme Community Center that you're sitting in right now is open. But I want y'all to notice something. I want everybody to pick up your feet and look down. Mr. Smith fought like a lion to replace the standard gym floor with a championship grade basketball floor. And a lot of folks said, why do our kids need a gym floor fit for a championship team? Jerome Smith knew the answer. He said, because all of our kids can be champions. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is much, much more than just a gym floor. It is a strong foundation for our children's future. This Treme Community Center is proof that we are not building back New Orleans as she was. We're building her as she should have always been. This Treme Center is a symbol of what we can do when we work together to create the city that we always dreamed of. This will be possible because of you, the people of New Orleans. They are represented here today by the lights of our community who have been mentioned. Angelica Rivera, Roman Lopez, Paul Irons, Don Harding and Derek Tabb, who with our help are growing their businesses. The Martin family, who has realized the American dream of owning their own home. Matt Wisdom and the entrepreneurs across this city. Dwayne Boudreau from Circle Food. Sam Porter, who's got his own new taxi cab. Miss Loretta and Miss Freddie at the City Hall Help Desk. The Hano Citywide Tenants Association. Officer John Passero. And yes, Mr. Jerome Smith. They are lighting the way, showing us the path forward. New Orleans, hear this. We are building the city we always wanted to be. We deserve the best. We know how to win. We like it, and we are hungry for more of it. But we have to keep going, one step at a time. We are one team. We are one fight. We are one voice, and we are one city. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going forward. Let's get ready for a great future together. God bless you all, and God bless the city of New Orleans.